Hey, how you doing, Dr. Prodigal? Just musing over a few things. I often wonder why people will fight over the Word of God. I was talking with a gentleman, and he actually asked me. He said, "How is it that you are a Christian, but you're not offensive?" And I caught that as puzzling. Like, what do you mean I'm not offensive? And he explained it, and he was right. Well, some people want to beat you in the head with the Bible, and whatever you say, they got a Bible verse to say you're going to hell. And I said, well, my own personal walk with God is my own personal walk. Now, granted, I may see you doing some things that's not, recorded in the Bible, but that's me looking at you. That's me judging you. You already, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, the person already knows that something is a little bit off in what they're doing. But why even deal with it? So I've embraced quite a few people that others will not embrace. Not because I may be part of it or whatever, but they're God's creation. And I want them to be God's child, his son, his daughter. So in order for that to happen, I have to avail myself to them. And that's the part that I don't understand. I'm watching. I got a bump or something that's just itching me, but I don't understand that you can't embrace someone else. How else are they going to know the will of God and the love of God unless you connect with them? So what does that do? It runs people away. I had someone said, and I had a difficult situation. I can be very transparent with it. It was someone that wanted to transition gender, but yet they were still talking to me. And I said, well, it's not right. Well, God made me this way. No, he didn't. We allowed things to be made wrong when we fell from grace in the garden. So that's one of the things that I was looking at. And I wasn't going to call him she. And no, you still got gear to say you a brother. So I can't do that. Now, if I didn't know it and I met you and you had things done, then that may be something completely different. But it seemed like they wanted to give me their it. Well, this is my it, and you have to accept my it. No, I don't. Just like you don't have to accept my it. So where am I going with this? When you're ministering to someone, why are you going toward their it? They may have only one it. You may have a plethora of its. So, in speaking to one of the young pastors, I won't say he's a young pastor, but one of my pastors, I asked him, I said, I have to ask you to pour into me with this. How do you do it? Because he's in a form of counseling, an area of counseling where he sees a lot that comes through, and it can be anything. So he said, I never address a person's it. I address the sin nature. Light went on. Wonderful. We all have a sin nature, but we don't all have the same it. So why do I say that? A mentee, confided in me some things, and I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, that goes with the rest of the sin of the world. And by you being saved, then you confess your sin, which means, Lord, I agree. And he's faithful and just to forgive and cleanse from all unrighteousness. So you confess it to him. That was his it at the time. And the enemy will have us focus on either our it or their it or one of the its. The sin nature is what Jesus came for. The sin nature. So I'm not going to address your it, but I'll address the sin nature, which covers all of your its and all of my its. And now I want you to think about something. It is finished. That's what Jesus said on the cross. So when it was finished with Jesus, then it needed to be finished with me. And now since it is finished with me, then it is finished with others as well, if they allow it to be finished. Give me some thoughts on that. I'm not going to address your it. We can talk, we can agree upon the sin nature, and we definitely can agree upon the salvation through Jesus Christ, but I'm not going to address your it. Because the reality of it is, it doesn't leave all. It splits up. One it may stop, another it may start. But before it's all over with, it is finished. So we have to come to the conclusion, the reality, the truth, the grasping that my it is equal to your it, which calls God to call it out as sin, because it will put you in hell unless you cover it with the blood of Christ. So I challenge you, when you speaking to your neighbor, why are you worrying about their it? When you look in the mirror, be concerned about your it or your its. We have a lot. If we're not so quick to condemn everyone, we may be more inclined to love everyone and respect them, even if they reject the gospel from us. The seed was planted. You can't dig up a seed unless a seed is planted. And even after you plant that seed, you keep on sowing. The parable of the sower said he never stopped sowing. It doesn't show where he said, I quit. He kept doing it and sowing. So I challenge you, before you come at somebody else's it or embrace their it just to be cool, check your it. Check your its. Because you may find out that you got more its than a dictionary. So I want you to think about this. Don't be so quick to down somebody over their it. When I do these musings, oftentimes I'm looking out the window and I see different people doing different things. Some of them, it's okay. Some of them just make me wonder. But that's their it. And when the Lord opens the door, I'm not going after their it. I'm going after their heart and their spirit and their soul. Because the its will still be floating around. Like right now, we can go everywhere. The pollen is high, so it is miserable. When I go outside, it is nice. When I see somebody doing something and they drop something, it was wrong. But when I look in the mirror, I can hear Jesus say, concerning you, since you've accepted my sacrifice, it is finished. So I suggest you stop looking for the its, because it is finished. God bless you, Dr. Prodigal. Give me a thought on this. Bye-bye.